afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to all of you on behalf of APAC News Network to the APAC Manufacturing Conclave. This is being organized today and tomorrow, two-day conference, and the primary focus of this two-day conclave is bringing together the IT heads of different sectors within the manufacturing industry together and discuss on deliberate on different aspects of technology deployment, the challenges, as well as how the future roadmap to digitization in this organization looks like. So the way we have planned it is over 2 days is we are having different verticals like FMCG, automobile, pharmaceutical, energy and utilities, oil and gas, steel, cement. We have IT heads from these organizations talking about the IT challenges in their sectors. Besides, we have different sessions on smart factories as well as on smart factories, blockchain, the future workplace. These also in these 2 days. In the morning, we had an inaugural session where senior government functionaries related to industries and manufacturing who presented the sort of the policy wise roadmap. And now we are starting with this session. And before I start, I would also like to thank all the partners for this program, without whose support this would not have been possible. We have partnering this event Siemens, we have Crestron, we have Avaya, we have Click, we have Morphisec, and we also have Choice Solutions for this session who have supported us for this program. So let me now introduce each of the panelists who have right now joined in. We have with us Basant Chaturvedi. He is the CIO of Perfetti Van Mel, and we all know Perfetti Van Mel is one of the leading FMCG brands with very iconic brands like Mentos and things. So welcome to the show, Basant.
Thank you.
Uh, we have with us Kuldeep Dudeja. He is the director of IT and digital at Reckitt. Reckitt also, you know, iconic brands like Dettol and then so another top global naming FMCG. We have with us Mayuresh Purandare, Head IT Infrastructure and Security at Marico. Marico is another of the leading FMCG brands in India. We have with us Abhay Bapna. He is AVP IT of AWL or Adani Wilmar. As you know, this is Adani Group's foray into FMCG, and in a little while, this has gained prominence. We have with us Tarun Bij, President CIO of Workbapri Tea Group, again one of the top tea brands in the country. And as and when we are joined by a couple of other panelists, we will announce them as they join in. We also have with us today Rajiv Maskara. He is a regional head of Click. Click, as you are aware, is one of the leading BI and analytics software solution provider, and they work closely with many of the FMCG companies. So, what I would, we have already shared certain points of discussion, but as I mentioned to some of you, and I'd like to reiterate it here, that please feel free to take up any other points beyond these questions that we have shared, because we would like this to be a discussion where we can sort of finally decide on about 8 to 10 best practices for technology deployment in the FMCG sector. So my first question, if I may start with you, Basant, is in terms of how are the FMCG companies CIOs looking to migrate all their enterprise applications. It can be the ERP. Many cases, FMCGs have SAP or run SCM, CRM, those kind of software into cloud. Especially during the pandemic, we have seen this migration towards cloud. So specifically for FMCG companies, how are the CIOs looking at this cloud migration and what are the challenges there? Over to you, Basant.
Thank you, Rajneesh, for a warm welcome and my hello to everyone who is part of this forum as well as who are listening to us. Uh, uh, we see in FMCG the cloud adoption started sometime back, and if I talk about Perfective and Melee, I remember the first cloud adoption which has happened in 2012 when we initiated with private cloud, but publicly going to a cloud platform, we started with our secondary sales automation, and I bet most of the FMCG companies are now driving their business through the secondaries. So they have a wider reach in the market, and they are capturing data up to the retailer side. So to say here, primaries used to be enterprise, and it will remain, but at the same time now secondaries are also part of enterprise. And Perfetti, who has got 100% secondaries automated, so they are already part of the cloud, and we are in this journey since 2017. Coming to the point, whether the companies are looking for cloud adoption for primary platform, yes, I know a couple of CIO friends who have been discussing this, and I know within my organization globally we are discussing this. How we can look at cloud first as a strategy, and how we can move from our existing platform, which is in-house, to the public cloud platform. So that work has been initiated and the discussions are still on, not yet finalized. But I know a couple of companies, CIO friends I interacted with, they are already working on these areas, and they are looking at an opportunity wherein they can migrate platforms like SAP on the cloud. What I could also clearly see the advantage is, of course, on the manageability part, wherein currently you have complete dependency on the in-house infrastructure as well as resources who are managing this. But on cloud, it is being offered to you with availability piece, with security management piece, and offered as a service, as a delivery, wherein you only have to focus upon the number of subscription you want to manage. So in the time to come, maybe in 2 to 3 years, we will see more and more adoption of cloud in primary platform as well. One of the main force for driving this was what is the reachability, or what is the number of stakeholders or users you want to connect on this platform. So why we were adopted secondary for cloud is because the connect were needed across geographies, and we wanted to ensure that we are not suffering on the performance agility piece. So there, our first take was to go for cloud platform. And in case of primaries, we still wanted to see that if we have already invested on a platform, so let us see that we continue to use it, and then when this is getting outdated, start working on this as well. So these are the reasons why we have started adopting from secondary, and now we have started working on primary. Coming to the challenge piece, one of the key challenge which I could see is, of course, a good partner who can help you in migrating your existing platform to the public platform. The skill sets, if required to support this activity, in-house skill sets, as well as if the partner is able to offer those skill sets, because very little experience and very little case studies in these areas. So we would like to refer to them and see how successful those migrations are, and it will bring more confidence for us to go for such kind of platform. And if there is a local law applicable in these areas, as of now I don't see this any challenge in FMCG segment. but I'm not sure about insurance and the bank sectors. Maybe they people can confirm on that, the CIOs of relevant industry areas. But that could also be one of the challenge. And otherwise, I don't see any challenge uh, from security, from agility, from productivity point of view, because clouds are now a proven platform for everyone.
Okay, okay, got it, and thanks for that. I'll come next to you, Kuldeep, and I would like to put to you the other aspect. A very critical part of FMCG company is enhancing the sales and marketing,
So,
which in turn optimizes the productivity of the organizations. So
Rajnish,
now,
we can come to that question, but I would like to add on to what already is being said on the cloud transformation. Because what Basan touched upon is a very good resilient point, but we have already gone far ahead in that, long back, where we had adopted cloud first strategy in 2017, and there are a few learnings I thought it would be good to share with the group. If you allow me, I can dwell a little bit more on that topic before we can jump on the sales one.
sure.
Okay, sure. So yeah, I just want to share, like we also started looking at, if I may remember, our first cloud platforms way back in 2012, 2013, which is exactly what, Basant was talking about. But I think what, we quickly realized that organization like Reckitt, if we need scalability, we want to make things simpler and reliable and, quick, faster, we need to adopt cloud as a first strategy, and we already adopted in 2017, which means any application that point of time which was about to get introduced to our portfolio, we made sure it is cloud first, ideally SaaS, but if it not SaaS, platform as a services. In worst to worst case scenario, if things are not compatible, then infrastructure as a services. But I think I want to dwell one key challenge we have faced, because we are about to finish our entire portfolio to cloud, all the existing one, primary or ERPs or financial systems, everything is now moving to cloud as we speak, and in next quarter or so we will be fully live. One of the challenge, apart from what is being told about skill set or partners, it's a transformation program. So there are two more challenges which we saw. One, it is in the background, it is not the business, but they will see the benefit out of it. So it is very difficult for us to sell that why we were doing this to business. I think definitely pandemic did help us in getting a business case. So that was another one challenge we faced. And few other challenges we faced was some of the legacy apps are not compatible with clouds, and which means they are not cloud native. Either we have to basically decommission them, or we have to think through what is the alternative for that. But we wanted to go to 100% cloud, but we would be able to achieve 98%. Still 2% will be residual amount, which we believe is going to be still some time before we can make it to 100%. Those are the few challenges apart from what already been told about the cloud. But yes, definitely in this whole process, we were able to achieve the typical benefits we were looking forward to: reduce cost of maintenance, making sure that we are not internally skill heavy in maintaining those infrastructure. We are now relying on the public cloud platforms as the third party. So totally making it simpler, reliable, and secure.
Okay, thanks. I'll come to you later on that sales and marketing points. I'll next come to you, Mayuresh. And the thing which I would like to put to you is, again, some critical aspects of FMCG company will be on the inventory management and the warehouse, then the distribution system. I'm sure some bit of predictive analytics is essential for that. Analytics as well as overall digitization. How does it impact for the FMCG companies as far as their inventory management, warehouse management, or the distribution system is concerned? Mahesh.
Yeah, sure. So good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, the digital transformation is a huge topic, out of which I think the distribution management and the sales systems is something I will focus on for this question. So in Marico, what we have done is uh, obviously the distribution systems were always uh, migrated to online platform for Marico in maybe around early 2005-6. So we were at that time only we were online and we were having a secondary distribution system already there up and running. We are one of the very first organizations within FMCG sector to have the complete DMS system for the distributors. Now we are also so when it comes to the primary and the secondary, so I will tell about both. In the primary, we are actually focusing on so APO, which is the Advanced Planning and Optimization of SAP. We have been using that. Now we are also moving to IBP, which is the Integrated Business Planning Suite of SAP. So that is on the primary side, we are doing that. On the secondary side, we actually get lot of data from our secondary DMS systems back into our data warehouses. And on that data, we actually have a team of data scientists and we actually do a lot of predictive models that how the secondary sales are going to happen, what are the exceptions in the secondary sales, right? Because at the end, we want to drive the secondary and tertiary sales, right? So our focus is always going to be on that, and for which we already have created some internal systems. They are pretty much using the crude ways of R and Python, but pretty much effective. So our the planning team actually gets a lot of insights out of those predictive analytics that we are doing. So yeah, in terms of warehouse automation, yes, we have done SAP WM, SAP EWM, which is the extended warehouse management. We have one of our plants which is in Sanand, which is completely automated. So no human touch is there from taking the raw material to the shop floor and producing the finished goods and sending it back to the warehouse. Everything is automated. So yeah, in the various parts of supply chain, in the primary as well as secondary as well as manufacturing, we have been doing a lot of digital initiatives in that way.
Great. That's great to know. I'll come back to you again. Next, I'll come to you, Abhay. And my question is more on the from an FMCG perspective. How are the as a CIO, you are looking at the digitization of the factories or the automated warehouses, and which are powered by intelligent data and analytics. So, how are you looking as an FMCG company into this automation of the factories and the digital warehouses, and leveraging on intelligent data and analytics here?
We also have done multiple things, especially at plant and logistic manufacturing and manufacturing end. And we realized long time back that there is a need to automate multiple processes at the plant level, because if you say in our case, it's a more of a utilities which are the high cost components. So like you have a oil, refine it, pack it. So that's one area where we focused in the manufacturing. Operational efficiency is the second area, which is nothing but a packaging lines, how effectively those are used. Third is the predictive maintenance of critical machines, which at the plant level where there are frequent downtimes, and once in a continuous production, if the downtime happens, everything gets stopped. Our objective was to reduce the downtime, unplanned downtime happening at critical machines, so that it reduces the impact on the production. So, and the utility one was the best example where we enabled many critical parameters from electricity, water, gas, steam, and whatever are the key ones, and which gives the real-time information. It's a tightly integrated with the edge computing, where if the operator needs to take action, then he gets the alert, timely alert, if temperature, pressure is high or whatever parameter is defined. That way we felt, yes, it took some time for us, but gradually it is helping business. When you say predictive downtime reduction, so we found that yes, there is a improvement in that, and people are getting timely alerts. At the same time, we worked on the within plant TAT management of vehicle, how much time it is changing. It's a real time monitored. Unmanned way bridge, the another thing which we have tightly integrated. So there are multiple areas where we worked during last 4 5 years, and at we are reasonably at good stage, especially in the manufacturing area. Inventory management we have tightly integrated with the depots, where the real time the moment the inventory are replenished, needs to be replenished, it happens automatically. The information goes to plant level and the fulfillment cycle starts from that. So that's another. Warehouse level also we have made couple of changes. The reason is, the some of the products are of short life cycle. So what happens is you have to ensure that the expiry is not very near, and like so we have bifurcated into multiple. One is augmented reality we have used to some extent to identify where the product is lying, which is the latest. So while uploading the truck, it becomes very easy for pick point and the time reduction at the loading bay area. We have worked couple of more areas in the logistic, where real-time monitoring of truck within plant, tag management, all logs are now digitized, so there is no need to manually write some log or do analysis. Bidding process is automated with the historical price and what should be the current price in the system, or what should be the today's strike price of the transportation from one lane to another lane. Um, and right now also we are working on some of the other components which are more to do with the end-to-end digitization up to proof of delivery and payment. So we want to reduce all the manual work from that point of view. And planning and optimization, we are reasonably good. We do up to back-end planning also up to raw material, critical raw material, and ensuring that all MRPs and others are running perfectly fine. It's a more of a maturity based, and gradually we're maturing on that area. So, but we have done reasonably good work in that area also. But it's a journey, like when we say predictive maintenance or utility, the you some of the machines are very old, and like to capture the data from them and converting and ensuring that it's a real time, that's where it takes more time, but it's journey and it works. And I think we started with the critical problems and then converted into actions, and took along business with them. Business were part of that, so that also helped them in understanding the problem. And then what is needed is support from business KPIs which are to be monitored. In manufacturing environment, it's more of a labor or worker or those people. So there also you have to improve the life, and I felt in some of the areas we are able to help them out better during last 4 5 years.
Thanks. So we will touch upon, you mentioned a very critical point about that unless all the data that are gathered, and as you mentioned, in many cases it's from legacy systems you are gathering, unless all the data is not gathered properly, then analyzing it will not always give the desired results.
So the
Like
first point.
Yeah,
So
Tarun,
the
my
first point we identified that if you want to do any analytics, and if you have a manually created data, then it's not possible actually. You will make hell lot of mistake. But when you are getting real time data from sensors, logs, and everything, then the challenge is reduced. Now you have a good quality, non-manipulated data. So it becomes it's helpful to do proper analytics through that data, and it helps you. It's not manipulated. You don't. There is no question of data inconsistency.
sure. So, Tarun, we heard about even technologies like augmented reality. And so, my question is in terms of FMCG companies, how far they are in terms of adopting these emerging technologies like virtual reality or augmented reality, more uses of artificial intelligence or analytics on the security front using like blockchain. So, in terms of technology adoption, what sort of maturity curve are the FMCG companies currently there, and what's the road ahead?
See, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Rajneesh, for providing this opportunity to speak. So, as far as I believe that FMCG companies, they are emerging because they are the one actually, right, who started this digitization journey, like by having their SFA DMS in place, right? So, and they are the one actually, right, who initiated everything. But now, because after this COVID, everything has got a lot of boost, And now newer and newer, whatever newer technologies are being basically in the market, so now we are having a lot of pull from the management side also. That means how we can increase the sales, how can we can improve the productivity, and whatever areas are there and where this RPAs or digitization can be adopted within the organization. So currently I believe that not only FMCG but all industries, they are basically running towards technology. They wants to adopt newer technologies for the organization, and I believe this pandemic has given a kind of boost to the technology adoption within the organizations. And as an organization, we also started digitization journey within Bagbatri, I believe an year back, which where it got a lot of boost within the organization, a lot of budget allocation which happened for this digitization. I won't say that from the maturity point of view we are very very mature, but yes, we have basically a kind of a pull within the actually organization, where we are getting a lot of basically pressure and a lot of push from the management also, that wherein we have to incorporate a lot of newer technologies like artificial intelligence. We are using it, we have started using it for security. And we keep a lot of stocks basically because our this industry is very much inventory, highly inventory intensive kind of industry, where we need to keep very high volumes of teas. And because we don't get same quality of tea throughout the year, that is where we need to keep a stock. So we have to keep all the material safe and secure also. So there we are using artificial technology, intelligence, reason being because we cannot monitor 24 cross 7. And we have used this technology to understand that in case someone is trying to basically get into our warehouse or something, so it can generate a kind of alert for us. Similarly, means we are from the productivity point of view, we want to use RPAs for the organization, wherein we can reduce some of the manpower, or maybe basically because a lot of work from home scenarios are basically coming up. So instead of people being around in the organization, there are certain processes which are very monotonous in nature, like accounts payable, account receivable, which we can automate using RPAs. So I believe we are at the right time now. Everyone is adopting technology, and I believe that as a CIO, our basically responsibility is to ensure that we should get the best technology for the organization, which are not only cost effective but very I should say easy to use and very scalable also. Reason being, like adoption of cloud is also going high because of the scalability. The way actually this new technologies are coming up, we have to provide a lot of infrastructure, so which is not possible to make all those infrastructure available in such a short span of time. So cloud is definitely a very good option for that, wherein basically we can ensure that whenever we need to conduct any POCs or anything, or we need to put everything in production, we can make things available for the management, so that technology is working as an enabler for the organization, which we were talking about for last so many years. But definitely means this is the right time for that.
Thank you. Now I'll come to you, Rajiv. Now you have heard from all the FMCG IT decision makers who are sitting here. I will ask you the first point is in terms of one. You have heard of the different level of maturity curves when normally the FMCG companies are there. So most of them are looking at using for either their inventory management or enhancing the sales and marketing. And we have heard about different aspects of the manufacturing. So as a solution vendor, especially in the analytics space, how can you help FMCG companies sort of do some of these optimization and enhancements? And what will be your advice or suggestion for their roadmap ahead.
Sure. Thanks, Rajneesh, for providing the platform, and a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries on the platform today. Uh, and this question that you asked, Rajneesh, is very relevant. And I would like to first throw a little bit of data points before I actually end up answering the question. So what we've seen, right? And this is a result of a survey that an agency did, that there has been millions of dollars of investment going into data and analytics, but a lot of the organizations haven't yet or have got limited results. So that's one part of the world where the data points around that is that only 44% of the organizations have believe that they have enough data to make decisions. Another data point was that only 29% of the executives believe that they've achieved transformational business outcomes using data, despite that millions of dollars of investments. Then there's another data point that 35% of executives see poor data literacy as important roadblock. Right now, these are things which the panelists have already alluded to, right? In terms of skill set challenge, in terms of the talent pool that's there, having a good partner, but not everything is worrisome. There is this other side of the world also, where few have got it right, and then using that investments in the data and analytics, 76% of the organizations have said that they have achieved operational efficiency. 75% of the organizations have said that using data and analytics, they've been able to increase revenue. 74% of the organizations have said that they've been able to increase their profit. So there is a dichotomy in people who've been not making enough benefit out of data and analytics and investments that they've done versus organizations which have realized value. So we went back internally and understood or tried to understand where is this gap. Why are there organizations who are doing really well, and why are there organizations who are not doing enough? And what we understood as that gap was, if we understand the entire supply chain of data, right? The crude data is there for everyone. Some are mining it, some are not mining it enough. All right, but how does what we've seen in organizations is that they are treating that data pipeline in silos. One part of that silo is the data integration piece of it, where you have your data getting collected or getting generated in various systems. Some of the panelists spoke of SAP, which is one of their most critical systems within the organization, and then that data needs to get collected somewhere in a central repository like a data warehouse or a lake. That is one silo that is there within the organization. Then it comes around the data analytics, which is another silo which is catering more to the business needs of the organization. And these two are being treated as silos. However, the value of this entire data and analytics lies at the intersection of these two silos that organizations tend to build amongst themselves. Now, if what we've seen is that where organizations have been able to merge these two or bring down the silos of the data integration and data analytics, that's where they have realized maximum value. And I'll back that up with a very quick example. Like, we are working with one of the major FMCG companies in India. They built their data analytics on cloud. They migrated to the cloud, and they built their entire warehouse plus analytics on the cloud, a very modern data warehouse and an analytics program. But what happened after they moved on to that system is that they were facing challenges in getting data to that warehouse in the first place. So the data integration piece, which I spoke about earlier, now that is a disconnected experience, where now we are helping them to first bring their data into the warehouse in a real-time way, and then that downstream systems of using analytics on top of it works in a much more seamless manner. So what we believe is that the intersection of the two silos can help organizations realize more value of their data and analytics.
Okay, thank you. So basically, if I may sum, two important points that you mentioned. One is there's so much of raw data or crude data, as you mentioned, uh, that needs mining, but it is important to determine to what scale or to what depth the mining should happen. And the second is this working in silos. And unless there is not proper integration, that becomes a challenge. Okay, so now we have one round with each of the panelists. Now, my next question, I'll keep it open, and I will seek answers from the panelists there. My question is, if we look at the current scenario, maybe the last 2.5 years during this pandemic, and if we stick to FMCG companies, what we have seen is lot of these FMCG companies are developing these customer facing apps now. Many of the purchases have become online, whereas most of these FMCG companies were earlier, we were purchasing off the shelf from physical stores. Now is being sold through the e-tailers and these different e-commerce. So that means lot of more customer facing apps coming there. So in that scenario, how do things like technologies like big data, this predictive decision making, or even social media adoption, how do these become very critical for FMCG companies as far as their sales and marketing and this customer front facing persona is concerned? So it's an open question, and I'll seek any of the panelists to take it up.
Sure, if you may allow, Rajneesh, I think I can take it up from what we believe at Reckitt. Yeah, so I think when we moved into our new operating model in 2018 and 19 starting, we said we will put customer and the consumer and people in the center of all what we think. And we even changed the ethos of the company, saying like, we will act responsibly with integrity, but we will put the customer people first so that we can change their lives and needs of their heart to our core to our business. So that all of that was actually enabled by technology. What we were talking about, because where you rightly said that we created quite a few apps which are customer facing. All of that really actually helped us in defining what could be our innovation pipeline, what kind of products really a consumer likes, what matters to them. So it definitely helped us in all the R&D pipelines, what kind of fragrances, what kind of SKUs we could launch, where it makes sense. So a lot of white spaces have been captured to that. I think that was the one use case which we implemented. On another thing which the use case which we applied was that all this predictive analysis did help us in getting all the consumer related data, and we were able to have a daily interaction with all our first party consumers at the right time with the curated content. So it helped us in moving our consumers from top of the funnel, which is increasing awareness to a brand advocacy. We definitely had some great digital love, what we call products. There are few products which are not so much presence in the digital world, but there are few products which are very much loved from a digital standpoint. So there is always affinity. So something like which we have in our portfolio is Durex, we have in our portfolio is Dettol, or we have in our portfolio Finish, which is our dishwashing product of the tablet. So those were all very much loved in the digital space. So we have done a lot of activity around digital campaign, marketing campaign to allow this to come closer to the consumers at all. Yeah.
Thanks. I would ask anyone else who would like to add on how this digital marketing, social media marketing, especially in the current scenario, has got enhanced.
Sure. So maybe I will take a
Thank you,
shot.
Rajneesh, and the question is very valid in the current scenario as well, because last year uh, we have seen a good adoption of social platforms for connecting with the consumer, and specifically in our case the customer is retailers, wholesalers who actually buy the products and then sell it to the end consumer directly. So we reach out to more than 4 million outlets through our various means, which includes the application platform and the social app platform. So we also launched our first social selling app, which is well integrated with our secondary systems, uh, for one, to engage with them. uh, and engagement means not only sharing the product information or new launches or the schemes which we are doing, but also to see that the celebrations are happening when there is a new festival, or when there is an achievement, the messages are going to onto them, which includes analysis of analytics, the data which is coming to us, and then sharing those achievements with them. And uh, using WhatsApp with a combination of bot to uh, share the product information, like these are the products you can order, and this is basis on the analysis of the past buying pattern of the retailers or sub DB or wholesalers. So the recommendation goes along with whatever schemes we are launching, or the SKUs which we want to promote, and they are able to register their order using WhatsApp platform. This comes directly to our system, and there the invoicing happens. It also bring a lot of visibility to us on the filling piece. So what is the efficiency in the market, we also know. This has also helped us in a way, like when the scenario of lockdown was there, and there were situations like sales guys were not able to reach to the market because of health issues. These apps were particularly used and adopted by these people uh, to share their orders. We were also able to create some awareness using these platforms by sharing some video links, etc., which were not only related to promoting the company product, but also to on making them aware on the health related, awareness, etc., due to COVID. So these kind of things we have done, and this is a big data generation point for us, and it is also very challenging task to sustain these operations, because you have to consistently support that huge network which you have created by launching these kind of applications. Now the focus is more on AI and ML to make use of this data which is coming to us on our system, which we are already processing, and to see that how these systems are more effective to them, and it is actually helping them in getting the right product, and also at the same time helping company also to see that we are able to make the right mix of products to them. So it is kind of taking care of their interest as well as our interest in the market. So this is one of the example which is currently working. And as Rajiv indicated, analytics is one of the most important piece. So if while we are connecting with so many people, we also wanted to analyze like how it is really working, and how we can improve further. So there also we have worked with our system, and we have a mechanism that the alerts are going to the sales team automatically through the systems, either in the form of mailer or messages, that this is how it is being performed. Now the focus is more on bringing that AI piece, wherein they can improve their performance in the market. So the solution, SFA solution, can guide them how effectively they can work in the market, what improvements they have to do to meet their targets, or to do better on some products.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Tarun, you can go ahead, then I will go.
Yeah, Tarun, please.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's okay. Actually, I believe Basant has almost answered everything, though. But I'd just like to add one thing actually to this thing is that in current trend, right? So means these digital platforms are really playing a very, very important role, because when the president or prime minister of the country can means when you choose your president or prime minister of the country, this you can influence the decision of the whole mass of the people. So why not basically you can change the mindset of the people, but the thing is that this is both I should say this platform should be used very, very carefully, because it is having a lot of negative implications also, because any bad news or anything spreads more faster than any good news. So I believe we have to be very, very careful when we are using and exploring these platforms. And we have to basically, yes, definitely in current era actually means without use of these technologies, right, you cannot survive in the market. So either you have to use it, or you will be outdated and someone will occupy your space, right? So we have to be basically, I should say, make ourselves available on all these platforms to keep our visibility within the market and basically create a right impact of our products in the market.
Yes, obviously. Thanks for that
So thank you,
warning,
Tarun.
which should be careful
Sorry,
about.
Rajneesh, I have a point here. Thanks, Tarun, for pointing this out, and this is very relevant as well. uh, this is the same thing we were also thinking when we were going for these kind of platforms, and the objective was whether we wanted to go a one way or two way piece. So there we decided that we wanted to go one way, and for inputs what we need is we are going to give them a link which is limited to them, which allow them and which has to be authenticated by them in the form of OTP. So whatever they are actually giving us, the information is validated by them through the OTP which is going to be received by them, which they have to confirm. So we figure out a mechanism to handle this. So yes, challenges are always there. We will see these security and other misuse of these kind of platforms. We have to see how, as a technology expert, we can mitigate them.
Sure.
So I just want to add. Sorry, so I just
Nilesh,
wanted
you
to
would
add one more
add
aspect.
something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one more aspect to this social media piece. While it is essential, while it is easy for the end consumers to access, it is not cheap. Okay, it comes as a substantial cost. If you see the cost of doing a social media marketing is, I think soon it will reach the TVC cost, right? So the costs are going up, and at the same time, you don't know how many people are actually buying because of those advertisements, right? So that is something, one of the areas where Marico, we while we launched a lot of these digital brands,
May
we also
Hello.
wanted to kind of see where, if we are investing X dollars on digital advertisements, are we getting revenues out of that or not? So we actually did some kind of a market mix modeling for that, and we are trying to substantiate that. But yeah, just wanted to put that on the platform. Yeah.
I think Rajnish, I'm mute, but I think what we are targeting in this group is two aspects of the application. One is a customer facing and one is a consumer facing. Both of them have a different challenge. I think we still can have some level of authentication when it is a customer facing, which is our distributors, sales people, and all that. But when it comes to consumers, I think that's the world is always two way around. And social media, some of the things which are beyond our control, as you rightly said, Tarun, the negative news can spread across very badly. But more importantly is that, you can turn it around to say if there is any relevance of your product, and you can use the social media to enhance that. Is could be a good example. One of the example we can tell you is that one of the speeches, we had strepsils being used, and one of the, I would not name the politician, but one of the key politicians said, can I have a strepsils, because she was coughing. Immediately we went big on media. We said, strepsils hai kya, strepsils hai kya. So those kind of campaigns could help you to enhance your product brand equity too much. And those are the things definitely you need to pick it on. But yes, it comes with its downside. If there are negative news, so what we have done internally is that we have called what we call as a brand watchers. Those people will actually monitor what's happening on the social media, what's trending, what's not trending. If there is any negative news, like what we have recently saw in Hyundai, right? Hyundai and Kia posting there. So definitely there are those people who have to react. It's more on the reactive basis. The earlier you react and you acknowledge that that's a change, that's what something you want to protect the brand image. That's how you have to be on help the technology to support that. So what we do here in Racket is that we have got a digital wall wherein we do a social listening. We see the trends, and if there is any negative sentiment which are rising, we address it there and then.
That's
Okay.
right, but only one thing I just wanted to make here was that we have to be very, very careful. You might have seen this Hyundai this thing going on, right? So one
Yeah.
tweet they have
Yeah.
made basically right means to which is like good enough to shake the sentiments of Indian population, right? So I believe we have to be very, very careful when we are making any such thing. So that is just something, right? I just wanted to mention that we have to. These are definitely platforms without which you cannot live with. But yes, we have to use these platforms very, very wisely, intelligently, so that we can make best out of these platforms.
So,
The Hyundai one is almost like a become a case study now. Okay, so one aspect I'd like to touch upon. I think we heard a couple of things here. A lot of these FMCG products, their sales are seasonal, and there are these seasonal pushes. And we also heard Tarun talk about the tea, where the tea is also produced seasonally. So the inventory management also has to be done, keeping those seasonal parameters in mind. So wherever it can be in terms of inventory management and it can be in terms of sales. A lot of the FMCG products are, we know, they are perishable, and they are pushed more seasonally. So how can digitization or technology help in this seasonal aspect for most of these FMCG products?
So I believe we have an answer, like analytics is the best answer for that.
yes.
So the thing is that with the help of analytics, the thing is that on the one hand that we have to see that what we have to procure, and then we have to see that at what price we need to procure for the organization, so that our basically like means cost of the commodity is not going too high, so that we are not able to sustain those profits, and we are basically not able to sustain the market. So definitely I believe where analytics plays a very major role, where we need to have careful, means very carefully analyze the data, that what are the seasons when we are getting the best basically raw material, and when basically, right, we are getting them at the right price, and what kind of inventories level we need to maintain within the organization. And I believe analytics is the one single answer for this.
So
Okay, so
if I can add something there, Rajneesh,
yeah, sure, sure.
uh,
So
I'll
in
just try
fact,
to
I
link.
was coming to you.
Okay.
I said, okay, you first add.
Yeah, I just wanted to link the last point and this point together, where we are moving to a world which is more real time in nature, in terms of how you react to things that are happening, right? And at Click, we believe that active intelligence is a vision that we are carrying, which is essentially allowing users to live in this real time world. So which really means that now if there is a tweet that's happening and which is derogatory to the image of the company, how can an organization react instantly to that, right? Which means that if we were able to build a system wherein the sentiment on the tweet we are able to analyze, and any negative sentiment gets alerted to the corresponding stakeholder, that can be actioned upon in the moment. And that's what we believe is active intelligence. Similar to that is the supply chain question that you're trying to ask here, is if there is an event that has happened which is going to disrupt your supply chain of something that you're expecting to hit your warehouse, how do you react to that in real time, rather than say 1 day 2 day down the line? How do you react to that in real time, to say that these are the alternatives that I might want to consider, given that I'm facing a supply disruption? So these are the things that we are kind of, as a technology provider company, working towards, to provide organizations like these to react in real time to challenges that they are facing in the moment, rather than acting towards it after a couple of days.
But
So
Rajiv,
what
I would like to add one point here. Mayuresh mentioned this, and Tarun also talked about the sustainability part in terms of the budgets and the costs.
Yes.
Mayuresh mentioned the overall integrated marketing campaign. These digital campaigns can become very costly. And Tarun also mentioned about sustainability. So, as a solution provider, how can you
Yes.
help the
Yes.
FMCG companies in these budgetary
Sure.
challenges?
See, Mayuresh brought out a very relevant point of how do you attribute the increase or decrease in sales to a campaign that you're running, right? The cost is going to be there, but if the value of it is more, then there is no problem in that cost. The challenge there mostly is the attribution of the cost to the value that you're deriving out of it, right? And again, there's no straight answer to that question, to be honest, right? We've struggled to attribute the value of something that has happened to some, due to which something that we've done. But what we can do is listen to the signals that are happening, right? If you run a campaign, what is the delta that has happened, and attribute that delta to that campaign, right? And that's where we've seen organizations take a educated guess rather than a wild guess around things, right? And that's where, if, and we as technology providers would would in some way work with these, at the end of the day, it boils down to the value that you're going to derive out of something that you're going to spend on, right? And we try to understand and sit with the organizations to say that what is the potential value that you're able to derive by investing so much into this. And once you boil down to this value equation rather than the cost equation, then it becomes a easier conversation to have with the business.
Sure. One question I'll come to Abhay on this question. Basically, supply chain part, and again, I'm talking of the current situation. Maybe things have improving, but what we have seen, especially during the first wave, during the lockdowns, and even subsequently when these smaller lockdowns kept on happening, there were a lot of disruptions on the supply chain side. And end of the day, supply chain is a sort of a critical component of any FMCG business. So, how were you managing? And again, touch wood, things don't happen like this, don't happen. But in case there are some such disruptions again, how would you suggest the FMCG companies manage their supply chain?
So first and foremost is now disruption will be there, one or another, like whether it is a climatic change or flood or X, Y, Z or in one particular state, or so that is now part of the game. Now how you have prepared yourself well as a part of supply chain linkage from end to end. So one is demand, production, dispatch, logistic, and the key is do you have sufficient raw material to produce that product? Now, so both side, what we have done is we have integrated with key accounts who are our key customers, so that we ensure that there is a demand which is flowing, order process, advance confirmation, shipping notification. All these are like from customer side we have automated. At the same time, what we have done is our critical raw materials which are there in the background, we have automated them also, so that they get the real time visibility that what is our demand for the particular raw material when we are expecting. So orders fulfillment component at both end is tightly integrated actually. So this is helping us to ensure that the backward planning is there. Constrained raw materials are taken care. You don't have to, like if the packaging label is not aware, you don't have to run around actually. What is, because we have divided into like couple of smaller buckets where we do better um, rebalancing of the demand actually. So we are able to respond quickly to that particular type of demand which is coming. It can be bottle, it can be jar, it can be pouch, so anything can happen depending, because in the last 12 months, 18 months, you have seen petrol diesel price have gone like anything. Electricity costs, transportation costs, even a basic food item cost has increased. So these are the factors we have considered. Even for transportation planning, logistic planning, we have considered that we use AI/ML techniques to get the right pricing. That what should be the price for this product? No, this lane to in today's this thing. So at multiple level, we have taken initiative to ensure that our supply chain end to end is automated. Plus, we have a command center, we have a SNOP output which is every day visible and which is monitored against plan versus actual, so that any disruption is taken care immediately. But there will be always one or other challenge will be there, but you have to be there prepared with at different stage so that you can attack the supply chain actually.
Okay, thank you. So I'll now go to last round to each of the panelists, and 1 minute to each of you. We are running short of time. 1 minute, just mention from your perspective the most important key digital initiative that is planned in the immediate near future. I'll start with you, Basant.
We are focusing more on AI and ML piece of it. So a lot of data is being captured from the market, and there is a need to analyze that data and see how we can use it for both our consumer as well as for organizational benefit. So there we are working.
Thank you. Kuldeep.
Yeah, one of the use cases we are working on is the transformation for end to end. So we did talk about the demand side, we talked about the supply side and raw material side, but looking at Reckitt is a complex scenario where we have so much of factories, 52 factories, and so many suppliers. So how we could make it a global supply chain more effective, which is at a scale which is running in at 200 countries of our customers. So that's what our focus has been.
Okay. Mahesh.
I think
We are
in
focused.
2021, the focus was more on the supply chain tower. So we already have established a tower which kind of looks at supply chain. Now we are focusing on sales tower. So there will be a tower of applications where the sales team will be able to take the objective decisions in the secondary and tertiary sales. So that will be the focus area.
Abhay.
Yeah, we are more focusing on digitization. We want to reduce the manual work. We want to ensure that there are all the document process from like say procure to pay or from logistic transportation, all is digitized, automate, so that we don't have to depend on the manual thing, and that is part of our management's vision actually.
Tarun.
Yeah, so for us, actually, we are revisiting our entire processes end to end once again, where we want to see the opportunity that wherever there's a possibility to increase productivity or efficiency within the processes, and means using digitization, right? So we were using earlier basically all digitization initiatives in bits and pieces. Now we want to have one single initiative using which we revisit what we have done so far, and we create a new roadmap for the organization, seeing the market trends, how we can basically make ourselves ahead of the market. So that process, I believe, we are going to start very soon, and maybe by next week or month, or maybe we are going to initiate that digitization journey for ourselves. I should say a digitization to journey for Bagh.
Okay. Rajiv.
So, two challenges that we see in the market today. One is there are few systems that are untouchables in any organization, the core ERP systems. The second challenge is we are in the era of the great resignation, difficult to find talent. So what we believe that as Click, we have a vision towards active intelligence. So we want to automate this entire data pipeline, moving from your raw systems in real time to a warehouse, and then being able to do analytics on top of it. That's the vision that we are trying to paint, and thereby addressing the challenges that I spoke about.
Thank you. So before we close, as I mentioned at the beginning, we would just like to recognize the contribution as IT decision makers for your organizations you have made. So I'll just announce the awards and display the certificates here, and this we will be subsequently mailing to each of you. Our team will do that. So I'll just individually mention each of the names here. Mr. Basant Chaturvedi from Perfetti Van Mail. Congratulations, Basant.
Thank you so much, Rajneesh. This means a lot. Thank you.
Welcome. Next, we have Kuldeep.
Thank you
Kuldeep
so much.
Jadeja from Reckitt.
Thank you so much. We are honored to have this. Thank you.
We have Mayuresh Purandare from Marico.
Thanks for this honor.
We have Abhay Bapna of AWL.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. We have Tarun Ridge from Wagbakri Tea Group.
Sorry,
we
I was
have,
on mute. Thank you very much for this award. I was on mute.
sure.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Rajiv Maskara from Click.
Thank you for the opportunity, Rajnish, to be a participant in this eminent panel.
Thanks. And as just we are doing a complete social media promotion of all these on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Plus, there will be a video report as well as a text report of each of these, and we will be sharing that to you. So, wishing all of you a good day, and thanks for making this an interactive discussion. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Rajnish, and thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you, Rajesh.